Everything you know about the clock on your wall is a mathematical lie. And I don't mean that in some abstract sci-fi movie kind of way. I mean literally, mathematically, a clock somewhere on Earth is quietly lying to you.
Scientists and physicists have known about this for years, and honestly, they've mostly kept it to themselves. But today, in this explainer, we're counting down 10 absolutely mind-bending facts about time that will permanently change how you see the world. Let's jump right in.
Modern tech time glitches.
We are kicking off our countdown at number 10, the second that almost didn't happen. For decades, the people in charge of the world's official timekeeping have quietly added a leap second to the year just to keep atomic clocks lined up with the Earth's rotation. But get this, the Earth has actually started spinning slightly faster. Why? Well, partly because ice at the poles is melting. This redistributes weight around the planet exactly like a figure skater pulling their arms in to spin faster. Because of this, scientists predict that by 2029, for the very first time in history, we won't add a second. We're going to have to subtract one, a negative leap second. And the terrifying part? Every global computer system, bank, and power grid is built on the strict assumption that time only ever moves forward. Nobody is entirely sure what's going to happen when we try to take a second away.
Moving to number 9. Go ahead and look at your phone right now. Your phone is quietly rewriting Albert Einstein's homework every single day. The GPS satellites orbiting above us are moving at incredible speeds, and they're sitting in weaker gravity than we are down here on the surface. According to the laws of relativity, both of those factors literally bend time. As a result, the clocks on those satellites run about 38 microseconds faster per day than our clocks on the ground.
Now, 38 microseconds sounds completely pointless, right? But here's why it's absolutely crucial. If engineers didn't constantly correct for this time warp, the location data on your phone would drift insanely fast. Your favorite Maps app would pile up 6 miles of errors every single day. Every time your phone tells you to turn left, it's only accurate because someone is mathematically correcting for time bending in orbit, right above your head.
Lost days and ancient tech. Coming in at number 8, we look at how governments have actually manipulated time to their advantage. This is the true story of a country that erased an entire day on purpose. In 1994, the island nation of Kiribati was awkwardly split right down the middle by the international date line. So, they decided to just move the line. For part of the country, they skipped straight from Friday, December 30th to Sunday, January 1st. No Saturday at all. They quite literally deleted a day from existence. And why did they do it? So they could win a global stopwatch race to become the very first place on Earth to greet the year 2000.
Coming in at number 7, we're traveling way back. In 1901, divers exploring a shipwreck near a Greek island discovered a weird, corroded lump of bronze gears. It took modern science over a century just to figure out what this thing was doing at the bottom of the ocean.
What they found was the Antikythera mechanism. Built around 100 BC, modern X-rays eventually revealed it contained over 30 perfectly interlocking bronze gears. This machine could predict eclipses, track moon phases, and even calculate the timing of the ancient Olympic Games. It was literally an ancient computer designed to calculate the future. And what's totally wild is that nothing else this mechanically advanced shows up anywhere in the historical record for another 1,000 years. That level of knowledge just simply vanished into time. Stolen time and mind clocks.
Number 6 on our list brings us to a moment in history where changing the calendar sparked actual chaos. Welcome to 1752 Britain. Britain was trying to switch to a more accurate calendar that the rest of Europe was already using. To fix centuries of calendar drift, the government made a technical correction. They just skipped 11 days. September 2nd jumped straight to September 14th. But to the public, it felt like a robbery. Thousands of people literally rioted on the streets, genuinely believing 11 days of their lives and 11 days of their hard-earned rent money had been stolen from them by the government.
Let's slow things down a bit for number 5. What actually happens to us when you remove all evidence of time? Well, in 1962, a French scientist named Michel Siffer voluntarily buried himself in an underground cave for 2 solid months. He had no clock, no sunlight, and absolutely no way to know what day it was. He wanted to test what the human body's internal clock does when all outside cues are totally gone.
The result was totally mind-bending. Left completely in the dark, his internal clock didn't stay at 24 hours. It drifted out to nearly 25 hours and sometimes even longer. He would wake up convinced only an hour had passed when it had actually been 3. By the time he finally came back to the surface, he believed the date was almost a full month earlier than it actually was.
His brain hadn't just lost track of time, left alone, it had quietly built its own version of it.
The ancient immortal forest. Which brings us to number 4 on our countdown. If you were to walk through this particular spot in Utah, you would think you were just standing in an ordinary forest. But this is Pando. It's a grove of over 40,000 aspen trees that are all actually one single interconnected living organism, sharing a massive underground root system. Scientists estimate this single living being could be up to 80,000 years old. Just think about that for a second. That means this root system has been quietly growing since before human agriculture even began, way before the invention of writing. It has watched every single human empire rise and fall, all while silently spinning off new branches.
Time crystals and forever clocks.
This is where the physics of time start to sound like an absolute paradox, bringing us to number 3 on our list. Meet the time crystal. A normal crystal, like a snowflake or a diamond, has a geometric pattern that repeats in physical space. A time crystal has a pattern that repeats in time. So the absolutely crucial point here is this. When left completely alone at its absolute lowest possible energy state, it keeps moving. It pulses in a steady, repeating rhythm forever without ever using up any energy. Now, it doesn't break the conservation of energy, but it completely bends our basic physics assumption that time behaves evenly and unremarkably in every direction. A time crystal simply refuses to sit still in time.
Number 2. Deep inside a mountain in the Texas desert, engineers are quietly building something called the Clock of the Long Now. It is engineered to tick for 10,000 years, powered mostly by thermal changes in the surrounding rock. But how do you design a clock for a future civilization when you have no idea what language they're going to speak? Well, you ditch the numbers. Instead, it uses simple mechanical logic and visual symbols. It's really less of a time-telling machine and more of a mechanical message for people who haven't even been born yet.
Einstein's ultimate time illusion.
And now, we arrive at number 1, the ultimate climax of this explainer. This is a drastic shift because it forces us to question reality itself. Albert Einstein once wrote, "The difference between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." He wrote this deeply unsettling line in a letter to the grieving family of a close friend. But this wasn't just poetic comfort. He was referencing the profound mathematical reality of his own relativity equations.
The math suggests there is actually no single, universal now that is shared by everyone. Two observers moving at different speeds can genuinely disagree on which of two events happened first, and mathematically speaking, they would both be completely correct. This leads to a wild concept known as block time. Some physicists argue that the past, the present, and the future might all already exist together permanently. Time doesn't actually flow past us at all.
Which begs the ultimate question, doesn't it? Are we all just moving through frozen, pre-existing moments of reality, mistaking our own consciousness moving forward for the actual ticking of a clock? From GPS satellites bending time in orbit, to an 80,000-year-old tree, to crystals pulsing infinitely without any energy, the physical world is practically screaming at us that time is an illusion.
So, the next time you glance up at the wall and feel like time is just quietly, reliably ticking forward in a perfectly straight line, think again. Time was never as simple as those numbers make it look.